Hi, I'm Patrick Stegall. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Tennessee and Mississippi. Today I want to talk about economic crimes in the state of Mississippi. These can include forgery, embezzlement, credit card fraud, computer fraud, identity theft. These are different kinds of crimes because there's no crime scene necessarily. The evidence is going to be the paper trail. It's going to be computer records, bank statements, phone records, things like that. So these cases are a little bit different. Usually they come about after the law enforcement has done an investigation and built a case. Again, there's no crime scene for them to go to. So if you've been charged, what's probably happened is that you've been watched by law enforcement for some time and they have built a case against you and then charged you. And sometimes the evidence can go back months or years. So these are serious crimes, okay? If you have been charged, you're probably wondering what to do. I would say the first thing is to go talk to a criminal defense lawyer and tell them about your case. When somebody comes to me with one of these types of charges, I can do some research and I want to talk to them to see exactly what this case is about. I'll be able to tell you what exactly you're charged with. What are the elements of this crime? What does the state have to prove to convict you of it? And whether they have enough to prove all that is something we'll have to see after reviewing all the evidence. But I want to let my clients know, here's the law. Here are the definitions, here are the elements of that offense, here's what has to be proven. And I also want to tell you what your punishment might be. Okay, what's the worst case scenario? What might be the best case scenario? Each case is different. A lot of that is going to depend on whether this is a misdemeanor charge or a felony charge. Misdemeanors are serious, but felonies are especially serious offenses, as you probably know. If you're charged with a felony, you are looking at a very serious charge with some possible time attached to it. In Mississippi, when it comes to economic related crimes, usually the difference between misdemeanor and felony is going to be $100. Generally, if the value of the merchandise or services or the item that was forged, the money involved, if it's $100 or less, it's usually going to be a misdemeanor, but anything over $100 is a felony. So that's a pretty low threshold to get to a felony. Most of these are over $100. So if you're charged with a felony, then like I said, you're looking at a serious case. You're looking at minimum is usually a year on a felony. Minimum punishment on a misdemeanor it's usually 6 months. So you could be looking at a year on a felony. It could be several years. Just depends on the type of case. But you should come talk to me and tell me about it, and I can do some looking into it and tell you what your options might be. As for options, you always have the right to go to a trial, okay? And if after looking at the evidence I feel that the state cannot prove each element of the offense and they are not willing to make what you feel is a reasonable offer or reasonable settlement on the case, you may want to go to trial. If you do, you have to have defenses, okay? And that could be, it could be a number of things. It could be a case where maybe it wasn't you. Maybe you were an accessory to this, but you were not the principal perpetrator in it. Maybe you were acting with somebody's permission, okay, and felt that you weren't actually committing a crime. It just depends on the case. Now, if you don't want to go to trial and you want to, for lack of a better phrase, cut a deal, that may be possible as well. Again, depends on the case, depends on your situation, what you've got going on in your life, if you have any prior criminal record. People with priors don't get as good of an offer as somebody who's a first-time offender. If you're a first-time offender, my goal always is to keep you out of jail, keep this off your record. We may have options if you are willing to accept responsibility and work out an agreement with the state. That could include probation, it could include restitution, and like I said before, these felony charges do carry multiple years of punishment, so you could be put on probation for years. Just depends on the type of case. But if you are a first-time offender, I understand the gravity of the situation for you. You don't want to go to jail. Having a felony conviction on your life can ruin you in many ways. So my goal is always to avoid those worst-case outcomes. But again, first thing is come talk to me and tell me about your case, and I can break it down for you, give you some possible options, some worst case and best case scenarios, and then we can get into the evidence and figure out what we're looking at, and if we can reach an agreement, or if it does have to go to trial. So thanks for watching. Again, my name is Patrick Stegall. Thank you.